Dang, Flabbit, I really don't understand the concept of political authority in the mid to late 18th century.
Someone mentioned the concept of political authority in the mid to late 18th century? Don't worry, Alice and Ruben, we won't hurt you. We're friendly ghosts.
Ghosts?
We're the ghosts of political authorities past, and we're here to help a homegirl out.
Really? You can tell me how political authority and patronage politics worked within mid to late 18th century colonial society?
Tell you? Pfft, Alice and Ruben, we can show you.
Holy guacamole, where the hickety-heck are we?
We time traveled to colonial times, a time where wealth and significant social standing could get you almost anywhere in life. This is where Benjamin Franklin worked as a postmaster.
I love Benjamin Franklin. I'm his biggest fan. But what does he have to do with anything?
You see, after Benjamin Franklin became Deputy Postmaster General of North America in 1753, he quickly became invested in patronage politics, appointing only his relatives and close friends to authoritative positions under his control. This is a prime example of how patronage worked in government, with this type of nepotism occurring constantly within colonial politics.
How positions within government were only given to men of property and high social rank?
Exactly. You're already getting the right idea, but there are some things you should know before we get right into it.
Well, you should first understand that patronage was what made the English monarchy work. In monarchical society, the king was the head and foundation of all offices and honors. Subjects were expected to look upward for favors and rewards, if not to the king himself, at least to those who were dependent on him. Lines of influence radiated outward from the crown, through the colonial governors, into even the remotest localities of American society. This created a great chain of political self-interest, as English Whig John Brown put it, and made plenty of space for political patronage to take hold.
Oh, I see. So the wealthy colonists took advantage of these lines of influence, gaining political power through favoritism and their rank in society?
Yep, it had major effects on the colonial government. For example, the wealthy and affluent men would give loans to the less fortunate colonists in exchange for their support in government. As a result, when the wealthy colonists needed support in government, the common people they patronized would support them. Moreover, patronage is directly responsible for effectively creating chains of dependency throughout the colonies. This helped to maintain monarchy in colonial society, which was very helpful to the crown. Hierarchy is crucial to the success of any monarchy, with everyone being useful in some sense and having their own purpose while still maintaining an organized system of authority.
The ladder-like structure of colonial society gave everyone a place and purpose, while still understanding their rank in society. Everywhere it was the same. Those who had the property and power to exert influence on any way, whether by lending money, doing a favor, or supplying employment, created obligations and dependencies that could be turned into political authority. We should leave now. I don't want to bother Ben Franklin any longer.
Holy cannoli, that seems so corrupt. By the way, where are we? It's really nice in here.
We're at the office of a wealthy governor, and where you come from, in modern society, political patronage is seen as corrupt. But in this pre-modern government, patronage was accepted and was what you needed to get by.
Also, through nepotism and favoritism, based off of wealth and social class, certain colonists were able to gain political authority and exploit this privilege for personal gain. Well-to-do gentry were expected to partake in politics as a duty of theirs to the colony, and the colonial governments would take advantage of these colonists' immense wealth by externalizing the costs of action, using these colonists' private funds in exchange for political incentives within government.
Political incentives? That sounds kind of shady, to be honest.
I suppose you could call it that, since holding office and being involved in politics wasn't yet considered a profession in and of itself and didn't provide salary. Some communities had trouble getting people to take certain offices. So many offices offered to holders incentives in the form of fees, rewards, or benefits, sometimes quite lucrative ones.
Most of all, having political authority as a gentleman gave you a hand in government, allowing you to take part in political patronage and to create your very own web of dependencies through the appointing to governmental offices, the awarding of military commissions or judgeships, or even the granting of land or contracts for provisions. All of these were visible political expressions of the underlying system of personal obligations and reciprocity that ran through the whole of society. Let's sit next to the fire below to study.
Wow, it's so much warmer in here. But what if the gentlemen holding office weren't qualified for their position, or were disliked by the colonists that depended on them?
Well, generally the wealthy colonists who assumed these positions in government were educated and held high enough social rank that the majority of colonists did believe them to be qualified. Yet sometimes the people put in office weren't always qualified for the positions they held, but exploited the positions' benefits anyways, becoming the subject of many complaints and arguments between both crown and colonists.
So wealth and status must have meant everything to the colonists.
Pretty much. Reputations were incredibly important. During these times, social authority matched someone's political authority, so your rank in society and reputation would be the deciding factor in your rank in government. In desperate attempts to establish personal dignity and improve their reputations, wealthy colonists involved in government would wrap themselves in the sacred mantle of God and religion. In a time where reputation was so critical, critics of government were under lots of scrutiny, and seditious libel, along with other acts of attacks at one's character, were taken very seriously. The stability of the political system thus depended on the social authority of the political leaders being visible and incontestable. This is why officials were so sensitive about their reputation. Their ability to govern depended on them.
The modern distinction between state and society, public and private, were just emerging and were yet only dimly appreciated. Public institutions, like private rights and private persons, had public obligations.
Gee willikers, thank you, ghosts of political authorities past. You guys saved me. I think I now fully understand how patronage politics are able to maintain monarchical society and aristocracy in mid to late 18th century colonial society.
No problem, Alice and Reuben. Now let's get you back to the 21st century so you can eat some good quality food.